It is graduation season, and valedictorians across the country are delivering their commencement addresses. But one Dallas High School's valedictorian, Rooha Haghar, says the principal ordered her microphone cut off when she mentioned the names of Trayvon Martin and Tamir Rice. She called them victims of injustice. Rooha tells the Washington Post she was advised beforehand not to mention their names, but she did anyway. Let's look at what happened, and I want you to notice it appears the principal signaled for the mic to be cut off.
The kids that were murdered in senseless mass shootings, to Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, and all the other children who became victims of injustice.
So the Post says the principal told those in attendance that it was a technical difficulty. Joining me now, though, is valedictorian Rooha Haghar. Hi, Rooha. In the clip, though, he said it was a technical difficulty, but all of a sudden when he got to the mic, it magically worked again. We'll talk about that. So in this clip, your principal, and I'm going to put up the video for people to see, seems to be signaling someone just after you mentioned Trayvon Martin and Tamir Rice. You say that you were asked beforehand not to bring up their names. Who approached you, and how did that conversation go?
You mean the conversation before my graduation?
Yes, ma'am.
So I had actually 2 meetings with my principal where he explained to me why mentioning the names would be outside of the valedictorian speech guideline, which I had never read and I don't think any student has access to. He also tried to tell me that until you are in a position of power, that there is no point in mentioning Trayvon Martin and Tamir Rice, which I also disagreed with. Mm-hmm. And we spoke for a few minutes, and then ultimately the decision was mine because though they did edit my speech and the edited speech was in the binder, I still had those lines memorized and I went ahead and said them anyways. Yeah.
So what were you thinking when your mic stopped working?
I don't exactly remember. I know that I was expecting some sort of consequence, but mostly in the form of them holding my diploma for a certain amount of time. I never expected them to cut the mic off right there. So I was really disappointed. I think that's the way to explain it. I was disappointed that adults who always encouraged us to think for ourselves and we are the leaders of tomorrow decided to silence me. I was very disappointed.
In your speech, you asked classmates to remember not just Trayvon and Tamir, but all the kids who don't have a chance to get an education. Why is it so important that you call attention to those children?
So the more I think about it, the more graduation feels like a privilege. And I'm going to tell you why. Because yes, it is hard work. It is a lot of hard work. High school is. But there are also circumstances that have allowed us to get to this point. And there are so many students that just are simply not allowed, because maybe they are gunned down by the police or simply there isn't a school surrounding them. And that's why they don't get to graduate high school. So when I was writing it, I was reflecting and graduation feels like a privilege. And I wanted the graduating class to know that you have an opportunity and, don't waste it. And always remember the students that were left behind. So maybe in your future work, you will find a way to help them or make sure it doesn't happen again. Mm-hmm. So that was basically me just reminding them of basically putting their graduation into context, into global context. So.
I just want to read the statement from the school district, okay, and then you can respond to this. This is in Dallas ISD. We educate leaders of tomorrow and encourage student voices, and we are looking into this matter. So they encourage student voices. How do you feel about how this was handled?
So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I know Twitter and I know social media. It's easy to just go ahead and name call and then cancel people and say, oh, they should get fired and I don't want to deal with them. But I don't see it that way. I'm not mad at my principal to the point of me wanting him to lose his job. I'm certainly not mad at the DISD enough to want to take legal action or any sort of that thing. I just feel like this situation is just a learning opportunity, and I know that my principal does not hate me because he's been my principal for 2 years. And I know his decision was not rooted in hate. So maybe it was just him fearing for his job or just simply not understanding where I'm coming from. So I want this moment and this opportunity to just be for education and for people to have these conversations. So maybe he will learn. I don't want him to lose his job because that's just not the way that my brain works. I want him to learn from this mistake and we can all move forward from it. So yeah.
It sounds like you're really way ahead of the game because everyone is aggrieved now. Everyone wants to be upset by some reason, looking for some reason upset, looking for reasons to cancel people, to be outraged on social media. And you are much more mature, and you have a fantastic outlook. That is the outlook that's going to make you successful. Don't ever stop that. Don't ever forget that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And I'm so glad that you said that. I really appreciate it. Listen, I have no doubt that you are going to go on and run the world one day, and I encourage you to do so. Thank you for coming on CNN, okay?
Thank you so much, Don. Thank you.
We'll be right back.